Hello everybody, welcome to the Wild Garden Farms kitchen. Today we are going to be making candied ginger, and this candied ginger is going to be specific for digestion. So a lot of people have been saying that especially after Halloween, they really need, now that we're used to like eating sweets, something after dinner just to help that teeniest amount of sweet and to help get things digested and like really get back on track. And the herb of the month is ginger. So last week we made some immune boosting bone broth, and I'll link to that video below, using like ginger and turmeric and astragalus and all kinds of good herbs. So to start off, I've been peeling some ginger. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to get all of the skin off at all. Step one, peel your ginger. We're gonna want about a cup total of chopped ginger. So ginger is absolutely incredible as an anti-inflammatory. It is wonderful for boosting your immune system. It helps with coughs and sore throats and achy joints, osteo and rheumatoid arthritis. Really good for muscle pain, for cramping, any type of cramping. Helps with digestion, helps ease upset stomachs and nausea. So I think this is gonna be good here. I am gonna take this ginger peel, and speaking of the bone broth that we did last week, all of my scraps, we don't wanna get rid of this peel, especially if it's organic. I'm gonna save, ooh, the bag smells like garlic. I save all the odds and ends of all the veggies that I'm chopping and the garlic and onions, throw them in this bag, stick it in the fridge, and then when it's time for my broth, just put the bones in, turn the bag upside down, and like really good to go. So we've got the mostly peeled ginger here. I've got 3 cups of water. So I'm gonna put 3 cups of water in a pot, and then 3 cups of sugar. Now I have chosen succanut. So this is, it says succanut stands for sugar cane natural. So it's the most unrefined sugar that you can find. So it's still got all those vitamins and minerals in there. If we're doing sugar, which is still a treat, you want it to have the good stuff still in there. So we're gonna do 3 cups. And because this is, so I just get this at Whole Foods, because it is unrefined, it's not going to be, white like the refined sugar that we have. And therefore the ginger candies might be a little darker in color, but that is okay because we're going for medicine and flavor here. So I'm gonna give this a little stir, and you wanna keep an eye on the sugar and on the syrup that we're making. Okay, and while that's happening, I'm gonna chop a cup of ginger. You want them about an 1/8-inch thick. So, I'm not super great at my measurements, but I think just about like that is what we're going for. Because we really want the syrup, so it's gonna cook for about 45 minutes to just really soften and infuse the ginger chunks. Ginger can be quite extreme, spiced and warming if you're not used to it. So, got the slices. And they are going to be all different sizes because there's no like perfectly cylindrical ginger. So, but I just want to show you what that looks like. So this is perfect. This is going to be amazing for after dinner, like I said, to help with digestion, to help kind of just relax before bedtime, just to kind of bring us down a little bit. All right, helps your body, get into that rest and digest mode. Plus, this time of year, it's just, everyone wants spiced everything, and why not? Because it's just fun. And very reminiscent of the holidays. These would be a really good thing to put out during Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. Right? So these would be great if someone is coughing a lot. You can give these to them if they need some sort of, they act as an expectorant. So if you need some, some help having a productive cough, these can really be helpful. Or, let's be honest, they just taste really good. Everything smells so good. So a little more than a cup. Let's take a look at this. Everything is nice and incorporated. It is a very dark color. Again, this sugar, which is still a treat, it's still sugar, but lots of vitamins and minerals. This has much more of like a molasses-y taste to it because it still has all the constituents that molasses is made from in there. So that makes sense. All right, so this is starting to boil, and we want to bring it to a boil and then bring it down to a simmer. The sugar water, the syrup, is boiling. So now I'm going to very carefully add the ginger. Now, if it starts to foam and rise, you can see it, just turn it down a little bit. Really, we want to bring it to a boil and then let it just simmer away. So the ginger is in. I have turned the heat down to low, like medium low. You want it to simmer. And we're gonna let this go for 45 minutes. The water and the sugar are really just going to soak the ginger, going to soften it and sweeten it slightly. And then we're gonna strain what'll be a ginger syrup, which you can totally use for many amazing drinks and medicinal purposes. But for this, we're gonna strain that. We'll put the syrup aside. We'll save the candied ginger, which at this point will be halfway there. And then we're gonna blend another sugar, but delicate blend that has some delicious digestive herbs, cardamom, fennel, and orange peel for that outer coating that is really gonna make all the difference. So I'm gonna let this go for 45 minutes and I'll be back. So this is how the candied ginger is simmering. So it's just a low simmer. We're not boiling it too heavily, but it's rolling. Keep an eye on the syrup here if it gets too low, so we really don't want any burned sugar here. Just add a little bit of water and stir it again. Give it a good stir. So you have to keep an eye on this for the 45 minutes and make sure that, again, the water doesn't get too low, but just keep an eye that we're at a gentle simmer. Okay, y'all. So this has been simmering away for 45 minutes. And so now it is time to just let it sit for a little bit. So I have here just a glass measuring cup and a strainer, whatever, ceramic or glass bowl you can use to strain this out. Do it. All right, so let me just measure this or balance this. Then I'm gonna come and gently pour the syrup off. Y'all, this syrup is divine. It is sweet and thick and spicy. It is going to be so good for teas or even coffees. So, all right, let me scoot that spoon out of the way and bring this over. Okay, so I've just got a baking sheet with some parchment paper on it, and I'm going to put the candy on the tray. I'm just gonna separate these candies out. Like you can tell, or I can tell that they are soft and they're getting that candied ginger chewiness. So we're gonna let these cool for about 20 minutes. Yeah, they're already getting good and sticky. We're gonna let them cool so they don't stick together. And so when we put the sugar with the digestive herbs on the outside, so it doesn't just melt, it stays a little bit like hard and crunchy. That's what these look like. And the house smells so good. Perfect time of year to do this. Yep. And now you have a delicious ginger infused syrup here as well. All right, so I'm gonna set these aside for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna pour this syrup, look at that. It smells like the holidays. It smells like molasses and ginger. So good for tea. I'm gonna put that in a mason jar and just stick it in the fridge. And I'll be back to show you the last step. I have my sucanat. I have cardamom powder. I have some fennel seed that I blended up. Super good for digestion. It's got that licoricey taste. If you don't love it, you can leave it out. And also some ground orange peel. A 1/4 cup of sugar. And this has got the nice big chunks in it, so it's gonna be nice and crunchy. Okay. And then just a teaspoon of each. So a teaspoon of cardamom, which is an excellent carminative, meaning it helps with digestion, it helps bloating, and it just helps kind of move things along. So a tablespoon of cardamom, and I just love cardamom. A teaspoon of fennel, and a teaspoon of orange. And just give this a good blend. And they're all strong flavors, but since we're blending it with a 1/4 cup of sugar, it's not gonna be too strong. And you can leave these out, the herbs out if you want to, but I highly recommend for maximizing our digestive support. And sprinkle it on top. So I'm just gonna do a light dusting of all of these. And the ginger has cooled, but it is still good and like sticky. So we're working with some good surface area here. All right, so I'm giving a good toss on the top layer. Voila. And then I'm gonna give it a bit of a stir. And you may need to just really get in there with a spoon because it is sticky. And then I'm gonna give it another nice pass with the sugar herb mixture. And you wanna get it really well coated or else it is gonna stick together. And you know, there's sugar in this recipe. And at one point in time, I would have poo-pooed this recipe. I'm learning about moderation. I'm learning about living in the gray, as my good friend Rye says. And really embracing and enjoying the heck out of all different types of foods and medicines. So give it another good stir to get everything nice and coated. And we're gonna let them dry fully. If there are any pieces that don't look totally covered, you can just give it a nice little dab, dab, dab in the sugar herb blend. And I'm gonna leave these out probably for about another hour or so. So y'all know how like some ginger, when you get it from the store fresh, is super hot and spicy, and some ginger it's just got the gingery flavor but not much of the kick to it. This stuff that I got is spicy. So yeah, maybe cut some of the pieces in half. Just be mindful, taste it yourself before giving it to kiddos. It is beautiful. It is candied. This would be a really fun gift. All right, I'm gonna taste it. It's nice and soft. It's starting to get that candy chew. I don't love fennel, but y'all, the fennel in this is not super strong. The cardamom's coming through, the orange is coming through. Oh, you know what would have been good too? Do a little bit of vanilla in the syrup while we're cooking it. That would have been tasty. This is delicious. And I'll tell y'all, this syrup is so good. So we're really making 2 herbal preparations in one today. So once this is fully cooled, so I'm gonna give it about another hour, put it in an airtight container, store it in the fridge. I'm gonna have one after dinner as like a nice little sweet treat, digestive. Anytime during the day if you feel a headache coming on, if you're feeling particularly crampy, if your tummy's upset, this is a perfect treat. And happy fall, y'all. Perfect fall treat. Enjoy, and we'll see you next week.